Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chukshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaye Stadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Narayanam Gurum Vande Sharanyam Bhakta Bandhavam Gauramanovistam Purnam Radhadasyam Pradayakam Rupanugacharya Varyam Rupamanjari Preshtakam Patita Pavana Bandhavam Yugacharya Narayanam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tuise Namaha Shama Sundara Shikanda Shekara Ismera Hasara Murali Manohara Radhikara Sika Mam Kripanide Swapriya Charana Kinkarim Kuru Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulasi Devyai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Sattvatyai Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So first of all I begin offering my most humble obeisances the dust of the lotus feet of Paramaradatama Sri Guru Pada Padma, Nittarila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya, Ashtotara Sata Srimad, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayana Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudeva, and my most worshipable Shikshan Sannyasa Guru, Nittarila Pravishta Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya, Ashtotara Sata Srimad Srila Bhakti Vigyana Bharati Goswami Maharaj. And to all Shri Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga, to all Tridandi Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis, and to all the assembled devotees here today, my most respectful obeisances. So by causeless mercy of Srila Gurudev and all Mahabhagavatas Acharyas, we are able to assemble here one more time. So continuing with Sri Gopi-gita, today verse number 7. Pranata dehinam papakarshanam trina charanugam sriniketanam panipanarpitam te padam bujam krinukoche shuna krindirichayam. Your lotus feet remove all the past sins of embodied beings who surrender to them, and they chase after the cows and calves that graze in the pastures. Those lotus feet are the abode of Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of wealth and beauty, and you place them even upon the hoods of the serpent Kaliya. Please place those very lotus feet upon our breasts and subdue our sufferings and that have arisen from the lust in our hearts. So commentary of Srila Gurudeva Bhava Prakashika Vritti. Pranata dehinam pappakarshanam. Pranata means surrender. Dehinam refers to all the living entities in material bodies. And Papa Karashana means removal of sinful reactions. The gopis tell Shri Krishna, your lotus feet remove all kinds of sinful reactions from those embodied beings who are surrendered to them. Again and again, they glorify the virtues of his lotus feet. Next line, Trina Charanugam. Trina Chara refers to cows and all other animals that graze on grass, and Anuga means following. The gopis say, your feet always follow behind the cows. Sriniketanam, Shri means beauty, and it also refers to Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. In this way, the gopis' statement has two meanings. Your feet are exquisitely beautiful, and your feet are the abode, Niketana, of Sri Lakshmi. She perpetually resides at your feet and never leaves them. Fani fanarpitam te padambujam. Fani means refers to creatures with hoods, like Fana. Here, Fani particularly refers to the hooded serpent Kalia. Arpitam means placed, and Te Padambujam refers to Shri Krishna's lotus feet. The gopis say, you placed your lotus feet on the hoods of that serpent. Krinu kuche shuna krindiri chayam. Krinu means keep. Krindi means cut away. Kucheshu means breasts. And na richayam refers to the disease of kama in the gopis' hearts. The gopis pray, please place your lotus feet on our breasts and thus destroy our heart disease of kama. You remember last verse, Krishna was telling gopis, why should I put my hands on your head if your disease in your heart? Hmm? And now in this verse, the gopis, they confirm that. And they say, yes, we want you to put your lotus feet in our heart, in our breast, because there is residing our kama. Ordinary people imagine the gopis' appeal to be born of mundane lust. And for this reason, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur eulogizes the divine nature of their immaculate love. Even a sadhaka who has attained the platform of Madhyama Uttama Adhikari has no such lust. What to speak of someone who has attained Swarupa Siddhi and thus realization of his eternal spiritual form. If someone has attained Vastu Siddhi, one's own spiritual form, and thus complete liberation from matter, not the slightest trace of lust can be found in him. So here, just to clarify, explain some terms. First of all, Srila Gurudev mentions the sadhaka in the stage of Madhyama Uttama. We know that all the different levels of devotees, Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama, they are divided again into three categories, which means Kanishta, Madhyama and Uttama. So then you have a Kanishta Kanishta, Madhyama Kanishta, Uttama Kanishta. Kanishta Madhyama, Madhyama Madhyama, Uttama Madhyama. And Kanishta Uttama, Madhyama Uttama, Uttama Uttama. Okay? So in this way, Gurudev is saying from the level of Madhyama Uttama, you cannot see more lust by any way in their hearts. And then Gurudev will say, what to speak of someone who has attained Swarupa Siddhi? What Swarupa Siddhi means when someone has taken birth in Krishna's pastimes in this Prakat Lila, from the womb of a gopi. That is called Swarupa Siddhi. Means that stage is perfected, but not yet fully perfected. And then Gurudev mentions Vastu Siddhi. Vastu Siddhi means when Krishna takes you to Goloka Vrindavan, at that time, that spiritual body becomes Vastu Siddhi. Therefore, Gurudev is saying, those who are complete liberation from matter means they're not more in this material world. They have been taken by Krishna to Goloka Vrindavan. And then this is called Vastu Siddhi. Okay, the difference between Vastu Siddhi and Swarupa Siddhi is that Swarupa Siddhi is still in this world and Vastu Siddhi is already in Goloka Vrindavan. That's the only difference. But the qualities of the devotee is same. It means the realization and whatever he can do, this is like the same. He's already serving Radha and Krishna directly there. But the difference is that this is Prakat Vrindavan. Okay? So let's continue here. Lust is a desire for one's own happiness, and the gopis do not have a trace of such desire. Their attachment to Krishna is called Samartarati, which means that due to its total selflessness, it is fully capable of controlling him. Rati, attachment to Krishna, It is of three kinds: Sadharani, Samanjasa, and Samartha. Sadharani Rati is attachment to Krishna for one's own enjoyment. And Srila Rupa Goswami has accepted the humpback Kubja as the only example of this Rati in Krishna Lila. The moment Kubja saw Krishna, Sadharani Rati entered her heart. She desired to enjoy Krishna, not to give him enjoyment. In this way, this is the defect of her Rati. Still, her lust was for Krishna alone, not for King Kamsa or anyone else. Samanjasa Rati is found in the queens of Dwarka, such as Satyabhama and Rukmini. Those imbued with Samanjasa Rati may also occasionally desire their own happiness, but this is rare. A mood of service to Krishna prevails. Means their desire for their own happiness has no connection with material happiness. Sometimes the attachment is for Krishna alone, and sometimes it is divided among many. The queens feel affection for Krishna and also for their children. Each queen has 10 sons and one daughter, for their love is divided among 12. Their love is further divided because they also have affection for all the members of their household, including their maidservants. Krishna may be controlled by this type of rati, or he may not. It depends on the circumstances. Ultimately, however, he is not controlled by it. The Gopis Prema is Samartha Rati. And this rati is found only in Braj. Samartha means powerful and competent, which indicates that this rati surely controls Krishna in every respect. The gopis are selfless to the utmost degree and endowed with this pure prem. They never think about how they can be relieved of their own sorrow, nor do they worry for their personal happiness. They only want Krishna's happiness, and that is why he is fully controlled by them. So that is the importance to understand Siddhanta. Because if any, like, what to say, any person who is not learned begins to read Gopi-gita, or any other type of pastimes, they may think that gopis are very selfish, because all the time they are telling to Krishna, come to us, pacify us, satisfy us, and all these things. But that has a context, and that context is their love, which is completely selfless. And then you'll be able to, then you have to understand why they're speaking like that, and not to judge them before you really understand what is the category of their love. So the gopis are Mahapremavati, which means that they are situated in the highest stages of Mahabhav. Mahabhav is the highest stage of Prema. It follows the stages of Neha, Man, Pranaya, Raga, and Anurag. It manifests when Anuraga reaches a special state of intensity. When Anuraga reaches its highest limit and becomes perceivable in the body, it is called Bhava. When the bodily symptoms are not very distinct, however, the emotional state is still called Anuraga, not Bhava. When the ecstasy of Bhava is intensified, it is called Mahabhava. The symptoms of Mahabhav are visible only in the bodies of eternal associates like the gopis. Okay? So this is the footnote explaining the meaning of Mahabhav. So just to make clear, Bhav is when the symptoms become manifested in the body. And then when it intensifies, it goes to Mahabhav. But when there is no external symptoms, then this is only Anuraga. Okay? So continue here. This is especially true of Srimati Radhika, who is eternally situated in the Madhanakya Mahabhava, the pinnacle of selfless, ecstatic prema, and who is one of the gopis speaking this verse. So we can give some example of this Madanaka Mahabhav, that Lila of Prema Sarovar. Now, this is always the example given. And at that time, we had symptoms manifested, like sweating, tears, trembling, fainting, perspiration, like that. So all these symptoms, it became bhav, then they intensified, they became mahabhav. Mhm. And madanaka means the feeling of separation in the meeting. Okay, so this is the like top of Radharani's feelings. What to speak of the gopis? Even the Swarupa Siddhi devotee, who is situated on the level of Bhava Bhakti and who has realization of his eternal form, he has no lust. Although he does not have the sense of intense possessiveness, mamata, for Krishna, that the gopis have, he does not have even a scent of lust. Most devotees in this world practice bhakti because, in the core of their heart, they see it as a means to attain their own happiness and avoid distress. Hmm. Only the Uttamadhikaris, like Prahlada Maharaj, has love for this of this caliber. Prahlada's father, Hiranyakashipu, cruelly tormented him because of his devotion. Still, he never prayed, "Please God, remove my distress. Please make me happy." If Prahlada did not do this, then what to speak of the gopis, who do not have the slightest scent of desire to be free from distress and to taste their own happiness? They do not even desire to personally enjoy their loving relationship with Krishna. It is stated in the 8th verse of Shikshastaka, Ashlishavapādaratam pinastumam adarshanamarmaratam karutuva yadatatava vidadatulam pato mat prananatas saeva naparaha. Let Krishna tightly embrace this maidservant who has fallen at his lotus feet, or let him trample me or break my heart by never being visible to me. He is a devotee, after all, and he may do whatever he likes. Still, he alone and no one else is the worshipful Lord of my heart. So Srimati Radhika, she thinks in this way. I know that Krishna is a devotee and that sometimes he wants to meet with other gopis. Despite this, I want only his pleasure. I do not want my own. If he hankers to reside in Mathura or Dwaraka with his lady friends, he is perfectly free to do so. If I come to know that he desires to enjoy with a particular Saki, I will go to her, serve her, and beg her to meet with him. If he crushes me with his feet, I will not ask him why he is doing so. And if he becomes pleased by embracing me, I will also become pleased. Everyone says that he's a devotee and a cheat. Nonetheless, I will always seek his happiness alone. It's interesting to see how Radha is speaking, completely like open-hearted to everyone, and even saying that she could serve that Saki who wants to meet with Krishna. But I never heard about she's going to Chandravali and serving Chandravali and begging her. Maybe I'm not aware of that lila, but so far I haven't heard anything about that. So maybe this is a point to clarify with some high class Vaishnavas. So Srimati Radhika and the gopis are beyond even the level of the Uttama Bhakta, whose qualities are defined in the following two verses. Anya vancha anya puja chari jnana karma anukulya sarvendriya Krishna anushilanam. Many people don't know, but this is the verse that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke in Bengali, which became the base for the Annabilashita Sunyam in Sanskrit for Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. You can see the definition will be mostly the same. And the very next Srila Gurudev will explain the Annabilashita verse. So the meaning of this verse in Bengali is, A pure devotee must not cherish any desire other than to serve Krishna. He should not offer worship to the demigods or to mundane personalities. He should not cultivate artificial knowledge, which is devoid of Krishna consciousness. And he should not engage himself in anything other than Krishna conscious activities. One must engage in all one's purified senses in the service of the Lord. This is the favorable execution of Krishna conscious activities. Hmm. So Chaitanya Charitamrita states, Anukulya Sarvendriya Krishna Anushilanam. When one serves Krishna favorably with all his senses, that service is called bhakti. Then, now Gurudev quotes the first verse of Bhakti Samrita Sindhu. Annabilashita shunyam jnana karmadya navritam anukulyana krishna nushilanam bhakti uttama. Uttama bhakti is defined by the word anushilanam, which means service to Shri Krishna with one's body, mind, senses, words, intelligence, and all the sentiments of the soul. An elevated devotee entertains nothing that is detrimental to the development of his bhakti. Rather, his practices are exclusively favorable. Furthermore, his bhakti is continuous, performed without interruption, and it is discharged under the guidance of qualified Guru and Rasika Vaishnava. Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam. It is not tinged by impersonal knowledge, jnana, or fruitive activity, karma, and it is devoid of any desire other than to please Shri Krishna. When all these symptoms are present, that is Uttama Bhakti. As mentioned above, the gopis are not classified as Uttama Bhaktas, even though they have all the qualities of an Uttama Bhakta. They are the bodily expansions, Kaya Vyuha Rupa, of Srimati Radhika, who is the personification of Krishna's pleasure-giving potency, Ladini Shakti. Srila Gurudeva, he always said that we should never call the gopis Bhakta, and therefore, in those categories of devotees coming up to Prematura Bhakta, no? And Premi Bhakta, etc., gopis are not being like uh, classified over there. Gopis are beyond all these things, right? These are for those like who are sadhakas, those who are like practicing. So the Braja maidens singing Gopi-gita most expertly reveal their youthful beauty and the pain of their separation from Krishna, with the hope of arousing his desire to taste the bliss of Surat. Because they know what he desires, they wish to inspire this in his heart by all the activities of their body, mind, and words. It is only for this reason that they sing their Gopi-gita. How do they know his desires? They heard his flute song. Then Gurudev quotes a verse from Bhagavatam 10:29:1. Bhagavam mapi taratri saradutfullamalika viksharantum manaschakre yogamayam upasrita. Shri Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, full in all opulences. Yet, upon seeing those autumn nights scented with blossoming jasmine flowers, he turned his mind toward loving affairs. To fulfill his purposes, he resorted to his internal potency. In the second verse of Gopi Gita, the gopis addressed Sri Krishna as Suratanath because he had begged them for the treasure of amorous pastimes. He had a taste for Surat, and in order to satisfy that taste, he made up his mind to enjoy sweet pastimes with them. He wants this because he thinks that the gopis want it, and the gopis want it because he wants it. Krishna and the gopis try to please each other. The gopis long to awaken in Krishna's heart the desire for the happiness of Surat, so that he will enjoy with them. How did Krishna know the gopis' desires? In the previous year, the unmarried gopis had performed austerities and worshipped the goddess Katyayani Devi in an effort to attain him as their husband and the married gopis like Srimati Radhika and her Sakis had joined them in the last day of their worship. At that time, Krishna showed his eagerness and promised that he would fulfill their desires during the following year. 1 year later, the gopis heard Krishna calling them to him by the melody of his flute. Before leaving their homes, they made themselves look still more beautiful, desiring that he be controlled by their beauty. This is a symptom of their rati. Every aspect of their being, their form, youth, beauty, qualities, and desires, exist only to inspire Surat in Krishna's heart. They intentionally made themselves more beautiful, knowing that Krishna would be controlled by their splendidly attractive appearance. They put on an earring on one of their ears, but not the other. And they put kajal on one eye instead of two, knowing that it looks more sweet. This is a symptom of their rati. So here is interesting because in before we heard that the gopis they when they left their home, they just stopped doing whatever they were doing, you know, and they arrived uh, to meet with Krishna, and they were with only one kajal, only one earring, but that was due to the hurry of leaving their homes and meeting with Krishna, right? But here, now Srila Gurudeva is actually giving a different meaning for that. He's saying, no, they did that purposefully, intentionally, because that is more sweet. That will make Krishna decorate them and continue and make that relationship, and Krishna likes that. We heard maybe a few shlokas before how Krishna was very happy to decorate them, like continuing taking their um, like um, what's called this waist belt, that they have misplaced, and then he put again, their necklaces and everything. Krishna was like making them, looks very like complete, like decorated. So then now Srila Gurudeva is saying, no, this is the symptom of the rati. They made that knowing that it looks more sweet. In this way, fully aware of Krishna's specific desires, the gopis enhance their charming beauty. They know the art of understanding and fulfilling his desires. And Srila Rupa Goswami also knows this art. Neophyte devotees, having no idea about the reality of this topic, can only repeat the subject matter like parrots. This is my case. At least I can speak about myself, just repeating like a parrot. Now, in this verse of Gopi-gita, the gopis again exhibit their ability to realize and fulfill Krishna's desires. They openly beseech him, saying, please place your lotus feet on our breasts. Loving feelings and desires should not be spoken directly. And Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur illustrates this point with an example. Suppose a man receives a visit from his friend, and in the happiness of wanting to welcome him, says, "Oh, my friend, now that you have come here, I'm going to purchase some ingredients to make you a delicious meal of rasamalai, malpura, and other delicacies." "No, no," his friend replies. "There is no need for you to do that." But the host insists, "I know that you are particularly fond of these delicacies, so I must prepare them for you." The host's expression of affection in this way only serves to reduce his love for his friend. Then there is a footnote saying that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains this principle in the book Prema Samput. He says that prem is like a lamp that burns steadily within the house of two lovers who know how to relish confidential mellows. If that lamp is taken outside through the door of the mouth, in other words, if the lovers speak about it, the flame of the lamp will be soon reduced and may even be extinguished. You can't speak about it. Otherwise, the tendency is to reduce. So, what is the context here? The host, the friend who is the host, he knows that his dear friend who is coming likes such and such preparations. Why is that he needs to speak that he's going to buy the ingredients to make something he likes? He should have done and prepared and offered, and that's it, right? But if he keeps himself saying, no, I'm going to buy, so please wait here, I'm going to prepare because you like, and all these things, then the other friend, he becomes embarrassed. And he say, no, no, why are you taking so much trouble? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And then things does not flow nicely. You know what I mean? So, so continue here. Similarly, if the gopis were to say, we know that you want to enjoy sweet pastimes with us, and we want to quench your thirst for this enjoyment, their prema would be diminished. They do not verbalize their feelings, and thus their prema is never reduced. Notwithstanding, because their love is absolutely selfless, even if they were to verbalize their feelings in such a way, still their prema would not be diminished. The gopis are so clever in prema that they are able to defeat Krishna. He cannot imagine the moods hidden in their hearts, and it is for this reason that he left Rasalila and followed them as they search for him. He had left them only to hear them weep and expressing their feelings. So you see, Krishna's curiosity about the gopis' love is such that he's even able to leave them alone just to see, how that can manifest. So when a devotee has the desire to serve Krishna, Krishna has a desire to receive that service. First, the gopis desire to serve him, and from this comes his appetite to be served. The root cause of their reciprocal exchanges is the gopis' predisposition to serve. An idea comes into their minds. Then, just like a sprout appearing from a seed, both Krishna and the gopis come to know each other's desires and want to serve each other. Srila Rupa Goswami explains this topic in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti also mentions it in his commentary. The desire to serve first comes in the heart of the heroine, but she does not openly express herself. Krishna, the hero, knows her desire by her behavior, by her mood, and or by an indication or sign. He can then speak openly, which arouses more longing in the heroine. We read that few verses before, right? I think in the second or third verse, we discussed this matter about how the first desires appear in the heroine, and then the hero, he should approach the heroine. You remember that, right? So in this verse, Haribo, I think I just dropped. Can you hear me?
Haribol Maharaj, yeah, I think it's your internet connection, but now you're back, so I think you can continue.
Okay, yeah, it's true. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so let's continue here. Uh, Yeah. So in this verse of Gopi-gita, the gopis appear to speak openly, but in fact, their deep moods are hidden. Srimati Radhika is the full feature of Ladini Shakti, and the gopis are the bodily manifestation of Ladini Shakti. Thus, they are extremely clever in loving matters. Krishna is also highly proficient in loving matters, but the gopis, and especially Srimati Radhika, are much more expert than he is. So, so in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 4.124, Krishna has admitted that Radhika is his Prema Guru. Radhikara Prema Guru Amishishanat Sada Amanana Nitina Chayaudibat. The love of Radhika is my teacher, and I am her dancing pupil. Her prema makes me dance various novel dances. In this connection, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 4.125 and Govinda Lilamrita 8.77 record the following conversation that took place between Srimati Radhika and her friend Vrinda. Uh, Radhika says, "Oh, my beloved friend Vrinda, where are you coming from?" "I'm coming from the feet of Sri Hari," she says. "Where is he?" "In the forest on the bank of Radhakund." "What is he doing there?" "Oh, he's learning dancing." "And who is his master?" "Your image, Radha, revealing itself in every tree and creeper in every direction, is roaming like a skillful dancer, making him dance behind." So Srimati Radhika and the gopis are more accomplished and clever in expressing their prema than Sri Krishna is. And they employ many tricks and skills to satisfy his appetite for loving exchanges. Thus, when they tell him, "Please place your lotus feet on our breasts," their prema does not lessen. We previously explained Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's statement that someone who directly expresses his feeling by saying "I love you," for example, exposes that his love is of an inferior quality. Worldly people may express themselves openly like this, but those who are immersed in transcendental love never speak in this way. Their love should inherently know that his beloved is full of love for him. Of course, this is such a type of uh, means consideration that those who have a limited love they should keep in mind. But in the case of gopis, they have unlimited love, unconditional love. So no matter what they do, that will always decrease. But they don't keep saying every time openly things, because that also can create obstacles, right? So that does not mean that they will use this. They may use, like very rare. But even when they use, prema does not diminish. But doesn't mean that they're going to always speak like this just because their prema doesn't diminish, because that can create obstacles, right? Even for Krishna, that wouldn't be so much relishable as when they are like indirectly speaking. He likes more the indirect way. Why is it not possible for him to repay the gopis? No, sorry. Uh, Krishna knows that the gopis love him. This is revealed at the end of Gopi-gita, when he will again appear to them and say, "Napareham niravaja samyujam swaswadu kritam vidbubaswaya piva yamabhajam durjara geha shrinkala samvricchatadava pratyatu sadhuna." "I am not able to repay my debt for your spotless service, even within a lifetime of Brahma. Your connection with me is beyond reproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all domestic ties, which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glorious deeds be your compensation. When the gopis hear this from Krishna, they will ask him, why do you remain indebted to us? Just give us what we want and your debt will be cleared. When Putana tried to kill you by putting poison on her breast, you gave her liberation and a position like that of your mother. In the same way, you should also reward us accordingly. However, Krishna will reply that this is impossible. So, in this way, we're going to stop here and continue next time.